Part 2. Azure Moon. Blue Sea Moon. The Impregnable Fortress. When Claude steps down as its leader, the Leicester Alliance disbands, and its lords swear fealty to the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. The chaos in the kingdom begins to dissipate as the people unite under Dimitri's rule. Riding this momentum, the Kingdom Army prepares to march south for a decisive battle against Imperial forces.
That's a hell of a thing, right? I guess the thing about different storylines, even if they kind of follow the same overall arc, there are still some pretty major differences between them. Go figure.
We will finally have our decisive battle with the Empire this month.
The Eastern Lords are in the process of consolidating all of the troops within the entire kingdom. In addition, ever since Aryan Road's liberation, the Western Lords have been declaring their fealty, one after another.
Affairs within the kingdom have calmed down considerably, and we even managed to win over the Alliance.
Although it was a rough go at first, I'm starting to feel like we could actually win this.
That's true. Thinking back on it now, we've really come a long way.
We even have a lead as to where Rhea is located. It is as we predicted all along. If we are to rescue Rhea, then we must defeat the Emperor. If we're going to march from the Monastery to Enbarr, then we'll have to cross the Great Bridge of Myrddin again, right?
Yes, I believe so. As we have gained the Alliance's support, we should not have any trouble this time. After the bridge, we can cross Gronder Field and head south. And then we'll take Merceus, the so-called impregnable fortress that towers on the other side.
Impregnable fortress.
Fort Merceus, I know of it. They say it rivals even Aryan Road.
Count Burgleys, the Empire's Minister of Military Affairs, once had troops stationed there. But according to our spies, a large-scale military force has entered the stronghold. Perhaps they are gathering soldiers from various regions to compensate for their losses.
Well, should we try to avoid? Obviously, the answer is no. Let's just float the idea and see what happens.
If we try to avoid it, those troops will follow us and attack from the rear. It is best for us to handle the situation head-on. Once we take Fort Merceus, Enbarr will be within reach. This is the Empire's last chance to stop us from arriving at our goal.
In other words, if we take this fort, then our blades will be at the Emperor's throat in no time.
If this is the last fort between us and them, then the Emperor will likely do everything she can to strengthen its defenses.
I just received a report on that very subject. The one commanding the troops stationed at Fort Merceus is someone we have crossed blades with many times. It is the Death Knight who awaits us there.
So I believe I'm basing this on, well, not a whole lot, but this should be a somewhat familiar battle, probably. Go exploring. Alright, Annette. For you, way down there. Alright, let's go talk to Annette. Come on.
Oh, Professor! Good timing. You have to talk some sense into my father. Recently, he's been doing nothing but work himself to the bone. Even when he's taking breaks from training and errands, he's apparently listening to reports, day in and day out. He's getting on in years, you know? I just want him to take care of himself.
Oh, sorry, Annette, but he's the executive officer. He doesn't get to take time off. How these things go. Gotta check in on my crops. Got cabbage, carrots, Noah fruit, and ambrosia. I prune, will I get better results? I don't know. Cyril is fishing? Cyril is fishing.
Let's see. Is it true Lady Rhea was taken to the Empire? Why'd they take Lady Rhea? Professor, they didn't take her to kill her, did they? That's good. We just gotta beat the Imperial Army and get her back, right? You gotta help her, Professor. I'm begging you.
Now, if they had wanted to kill Rhea, they wouldn't still have her 5 years later. That's how it goes. Gatekeeper, I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Is it true that we'll be assaulting Fort Merceus next? That doesn't sound like the brightest idea. I've heard that it's built to withstand an attack from even the largest of armies. And not to tell you how to do your job, but don't do it. I'm not ready to say my final goodbyes to everyone.
Aw, Gatekeeper. What do you have to say, Anna?
The Alliance is just gone. It's hard to believe. The merchants of Derdriu all have nerves of steel. I'm sure they'll be up and running again in no time.
I wonder, though, is it... Well, I guess it is kind of a big deal. That, you know, all these Alliance leaders just decided, no, we're siding with the kingdom now. But at the same time, it's not like they were forced into it by war. I mean, they kind of were, but it wasn't like they were conquered, what I mean.
You know, Professor, laying siege to a keep is like asking a girl out on a date. First, you get past her defenses, then you make your move.
Elaine. Not the best analogy.
Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a seasoned veteran at this kind of thing.
Sylvain?
Girls, I mean. I've never actually, you know, captured any keeps. Anyway, I figure you go after the main gate. You take that out, and I'm sure we can win. Of course, you're making the tactical calls. I'm happier to follow than to lead.
Gonna have to get you working on your analogy creation skills there, Sylvain. The Shamir.
Weren't the Kingdom and Alliance once part of the same country?
Correct.
Think about it that way. It makes sense for them to unite. I suppose the Kingdom was once part of the Empire as well. Even if Fodlan came together, I wouldn't be surprised if it fell apart again.
All accurate. Oh. A single door key. It's my prize this month. Near the Amiibo Gazebo. Although, let's check out the Holy Tomb. Maybe there's something better. Lots of sparkles. I did get these last time, right? all kinds of stuff. And there's other Byleth. Has nothing to say. Don't know why they gave him the indicator. But whatever. Fine. Alright, who else needs chatting up? Eloise, what do you have to say?
I have a thought. So Lady Rhea was in the Empire all this time. Wish I'd known that 5 years ago. But there's nothing we can do about it now. What we can do, though, is topple the Empire. Will you seize victory with us, Professor? For the sake of the late Captain!
Sure thing, Eloise. Let's see. Classroom, the old classroom. What we got here?
So, I wonder where Claude will go. From the sound of it, he's leaving Fodlan altogether. He was strangely gallant about the whole thing. Even left his relic behind. Elusive and mysterious to the end, isn't he?
Just as we suspected, Lady Rhea was taken to the Imperial capital. We must get to the capital as quickly as possible. So many people are worried sick about her. I do wonder when Claude managed to learn Lady Rhea's whereabouts. He's pretty shrewd. I can't help but admire him.
Yeah, that's his thing. He's extremely insightful. Now, I want to take a moment to look at the fail knot. So it's very powerful. It's basically a longbow. Good crit. But being a relic, that means that only someone with a crest can use it safely. And we're not going to have access to the special combat art. Out of our... Well, let's see here. It is an E-rank weapon, which does mean, you know, that that anyone can use it. It's not a question of proficiency. So any of our crest-bearing companions, free to use it. So if we're limiting ourselves to just archer types, that would be Ash, who does not have a crest. Merceus, who is not a physical fighter. And, see, Hanneman, his secondary specialty is the bow. But again, he's not a physical fighter. And our last two archers are both Shamir and Cyril, who, again, do not have crests. I guess technically Anna is specializes in bows. But I also have not been using her at all because she doesn't support with anyone. So, oops. What I might do, though, just for the fun of it, I'm thinking, what if actually just give it to Byleth, and then it's like, kind of like in Smash Bros. You know, because their gimmick is that they get all of the the Three Lords relics. Smash Bros. So why not? Just give Byleth an alternate thing. Anyway, that's enough hanging around the inventory screen. Talk to Mercedes here, we have to say. She is not actually in here. Sense. Why would she be in the Knight's Court? There she is.
Hi. Death Knight. Going to fight the Death Knight.
You seem concerned.
To be perfectly honest, I am.
And we're just gonna leave it at that, I guess. Anyone here? The first floor? Alright, we'll talk to Felix and Catherine. We throw in a tournament while we're at it.
We defeated Lord Arundel. The Emperor must have been surprised. If we can keep up that fervor, perhaps we'll capture Fort Merceus and move on to the Imperial capital. We must not be overconfident, though.
Fair enough. Proceed with caution.
Yes, I concur.
I hope you concur,
Humans and
Felix.
beasts are ultimately the same. When they're cornered, they lash out however they can. They fight for their lives. Who knows how the Emperor will lash out? We have to be careful.
We took quite the detour. It was time-consuming, but finally, we got the information we needed. We crush the Empire, we get Lady Rhea back. 2 birds, 1 stone. First, we take Fort Merceus. I'll put my heart in it. I'll crack him like a rusty helmet.
Alright. Glad you're into it, Catherine. Ultimate Sword Tournament. Assassins and Mortal Savant. Prizes of Master Seal, which I don't actually care about. But, send in Felix. See how he do. Oh, this should be in the bag.
Alright, next.
Plus, this gives us a chance to see the Mortal Savant costume, which, you know what, I like. I like it.
You fought well.
Yeah, I'll take my chances.
One to remember.
Alright, this time, heal up. Best.
Too easy. One to remember.
Great, nice job. And, incredible how the Mortal Savant has much worse accuracy.
Alright, next.
Alright, a couple thousand gold. Let us play counselor for a bit. One note. I wonder if a day will come when both the monastery and Fargus are restored to their former glory. That looks like to do. We'll make sure of it. Oh no, that's Gilbert. Excuse me. I guess that makes more sense. Question from Gilbert.
So,
Hey Gilbert, what's up? Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you very
Also,
much. Even in the kingdom, only a few people knew about His Highness and Edelgard's relationship. Me? I always knew those two to be like brother and sister. To think that we would come to see this world, where they are at war with one another. I live it, and can still barely imagine such a truth.
Yeah, it's real rough stuff. Edith is probably in his office with Flame.
Fort Merceus is a keep that was constructed to defend the imperial capital, Enbarr. We cannot enter the capital without first capturing that fort. But once we have it, the city should be almost entirely at our mercy.
Convenient.
Now that we know Rhea is there, we must move with the utmost urgency.
All right.
The Death Knight. I shudder to think of him. Professor, you remember my connection to him, do you not?
What happened? Of course I remember.
Still working through the trauma from back then. All these years later. If we meet him, I swear I will have my revenge.
Gosh, lots of good choices for who to send out against the Death Knight.
Each step closer to Enbarr, I'm reminded of another part of my past. Riches and poverty, glory and failure. That city has it all. And if I'm honest, sometimes I miss it. That's how the past works though, isn't it? It's always a different story than what you really lived.
All right.
Hey, you.
There. Mitri and Derdriu. What you got for me?
Claude has stepped down from leadership, and Leicester is now a vassal state of Fargus. The lords of the Western Kingdom are beginning to declare fealty to us in greater numbers also. The Empire is our only remaining enemy.
Professor. From this point onward, we're in all-out war with the Empire. Are you prepared, Professor?
Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear it. That means we can approach the coming battles with peace of mind. First, we capture Fort Merceus. The fighting will undoubtedly be brutal, but we must prevail. As far as this army and I are concerned, you're our last ray of hope. We are relying on you.
Alright, oh, wait a minute. What's here? There's a guide to fishing. The gardening guide. That's all just Professor stuff.
Fort Merceus is the Empire's single most fortified military installation. Utterly impregnable, they say. I wonder, do you happen to know the nickname given to Fort Merceus?
I believe that's the stubborn old general.
Indeed, a very good answer. But of course, you'd know that. Seems Fodlands give everyone and everything a nickname. Why, you were called the Ashen Demon. Myself, I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a nickname as well as a title, I suppose.
Oh, he's embarrassed to be called the Father of Crestology. I think that's it. Quests? No, they're chatting to do. Oh, how about that?